Hi, my name is Bailey O'Neill. I'm from Jackson High School, and this is my project, Duration of Heat Damage on DNA Collection from Teeth. So, some background information. This project centers around forensic odontology, which is the study of teeth in forensic science, and it has been used as far back as 66 AD, so that's the Roman Empire. And usually it's used by comparing dental records with the teeth of a deceased, but it can also be used by collecting DNA from teeth, and that is what my project centers on. So the purpose of my study was to test how well teeth can protect DNA from heat damage for different amounts of time. So if my hypothesis was correct, then forensic odontologists could be used more effectively. The goal was to determine how duration of heat exposure affects DNA collection, and my hypothesis was that if you exposed teeth to high temperatures for long periods of time, the amount of DNA collected would decrease. So the materials, the two main important ones are collagenase and proteinase K. Those are both enzymes that broke down the inside of the tooth. It's called the tooth pulp, and made the DNA available to be collected. So the procedure. First, I had a dentist cut off the top of the tooth, and then I injected collagenase and proteinase K later, and from that, you put the tooth upside down in a centrifuge, and the liquid that you get is what contains your DNA. So to actually measure the DNA, I put the solutions in a spectrophotometer to try to gauge how much DNA was in each solution. So here are the average results. As you can see, there's not a super big trend, and actually I found that the teeth that were in the kiln for longer periods of time actually had more DNA. And when I compared this to some of my results from last year, which this project is a continuation, I found some interesting results. They kind of go up and down, and they weren't really making sense to me. So I compared the mass of each root that I was using to collect DNA versus the absorbance, and I didn't really see any sort of connection there either. So what I concluded is that the amount of heat exposure, the time exposed, did not have an effect on the amount of DNA extracted, and if I had to posit what caused these differences, I would definitely say the condition of the tooth before I exposed it to high temperatures, because these teeth were all removed due to dental extractions, and all of these teeth were from the same person, so they likely needed dentures, and they were, some had cavities, some had root canals. So I think that the amount of DNA collected was likely related to that. And discussion and application. So with the findings of this, we can conclude that the amount of time exposed to high temperatures doesn't really matter. And that's good news for firefighters, people who are going to be first responders, because they don't have as much of a time issue when getting to scenes to be able to collect this DNA. The practical application, obviously, you can use this DNA and it's not going to be impacted by the amount of time the teeth were exposed. And if we were to continue this, I would love to try different ways of damaging the tissue, like maybe acid, and I would love to test other tissues like bone to see how the differences in the tissues relate to DNA collection. But overall, the next step for this project would be to see if there's a point at which DNA cannot be collected from teeth. That's all. Thank you.